What's up, Toy Fam? And welcome back to Transformers Tuesdays here on your Toytally Cool channel. Yes, something's new. What are you noticing? Are you seeing what I'm showing? Yep, we finally got our first shirt out. This is just the mock-up for our loyal subscribers, loyal followers. We're eventually gonna come out with some merchandise, but that's when the channel becomes a little bit more famous. In the meantime, you did not come to see my face on a shirt, but you're here for one of our Transformer features for today. Now, this is probably one of the more controversial action figures or even characters to come out of the Transformers universe, especially after the events of Transformers the movie. Now, the reason why I say he's controversial, because if you would go back to that pivotal scene in Transformers the movie when they ditched Megatron out of and threw Megatron out of Astro Train, together with a few of the damaged Decepticons, and they were called and summoned by Unicron, Megatron was eventually transformed or converted into, reformatted into Galvatron. And the others were turned into Scourge and the Sweeps and Cyclonus and his Armada. Now, there are two characters there that people thought were supposed to have turned into Cyclonus and the Armada. We don't know who, because they both look alike. So those two characters were, I think, Thundercracker and Bombshell, the Insecticon Bombshell. So I'm giving him away. Yes, we are going to feature Cyclonus. We don't know who he was before he became Cyclonus. We're not sure, but we're sure that he's one really bad robot. So let's look at the box. So this came out during the Transformers Legacy line, which is, Hasbro going on an environmental kick. There's no plastic in this. I think there are no plastic ties inside. Also, they probably use the paper ties. So you've got Cyclonus, the blueprint-ish diagram of Cyclonus on the right side. And on the right side of the box, you have a Decepticon logo. Okay. And it says plastic-free packaging. Okay. At the bottom, it says Cyclonus with Nightstick. 8 years and above. There's no image of Cyclonus and his alt mode on the back. Just a plain and simple tag. So we got a slice through the sticker. And let's do just that. Let's open him up. Nice little. Okay. So you're going to see this first before I do. Ta-da-da! Ooh. Okay. Okay, that's nice. He's a darker purple than I thought he was going to be. But he does have a lot more character with this shade of purple. So let's take out the, can you take out the box? There we go. So we take out the box. Okay, okay. Somehow I don't like these, but you've got some decals that you can stick onto him. You've got some stickers you can put on him. And then you have the manual as per usual. Okay. I think it takes about 33 steps to transform him from Cyclonus to his spacecraft mode. This is probably the most complicated Transformer we've had so far. Now, they say it's plastic-free packaging, but it actually has some tape on the back. So let's not prolong the agony. I don't want to go through all the motions of untying this. Let's just cut through all these ties. Now, mind you, the ties are kind of thick, so it's not easy. Better have some sharp scissors. Kids, better let your parents do this. Okay. Where is that? This one. Okay. Almost there. Okay. Snippity snip, snip, snip. Okay, that's a bit too thick. There we go. So we're getting Cyclone Nightstick out first, completely out. Okay. So this is Nightstick. He's a Micromaster. It's just one of the add-ons that turn into a weapon. Okay. Let's put him aside here first. Set him aside, like so. While we completely free up the big bad Cyclonus. Okay, he's out. He's out. Oh, okay, nice. I like him already. He's pretty sturdy. Okay, pretty sturdy. And then he's got one of the fanciest blasters I've seen. Okay, these are easier to take out because they pop back out or they plop out. These are blast effects or, you know, laser effects. Set this aside. Yeah, it's this way. All right. All right. Okay. Now, before you go completely bonkers, there's still one tie that is stuck to his chest. I'm not sure why. Probably because it's gonna be loose if it was left to its own devices. There we go. There we go. Okay. 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 I like him already. Before we go through Cyclonus, he's quite tall. By the way, he's a Voyager class, so he's got a nice height to him. And then you have a very basic Nightstick. He turns into a rifle or a blaster also. I don't know how he does that. Oh, there we go. I think that's how he does it. There we go. There we go. Is it? So it's like that. Yep. So he points out that way, and he's a blaster or a more powerful laser. And this is Cyclonus' basic blaster. Okay. Got some blast effects right there. There we go. Yeah, it looks nice. This one looks nice. Okay. Although it does kind of remind you of some Ghostbuster-ish kind of feel. Let's get down to the real figure. Okay. Let's set these guys aside. Focus on the man of the hour, Cyclonus. Cyclonus and his armada. Yep, Orson. I think it was Orson Welles who voiced Unicron. Had a nice, very deep, brothy tone. Yeah, brothy. What kind of description is that? Okay, he's a space shuttle slash fighter, I think. We'll do transformation next time, but for now, let's do the checking of the itty bitty. Yes, yep. 360 on the head, nice. Very minimum. Ooh, 90 degrees on the arms. Yep, a lot of articulation. A lot of articulation. Oh, it's still quite boxy. Okay. The waist, it goes full rotation as the Transformer should. Okay. As a Transformer should. And then you've got the legs always moving up. And then you've got the nice 90-degree knee. There we go. Even the elbows go 90 degrees. Nice. I'm loving this figure because it's pretty chunky. It's not too hollow in some points. Okay. Let's look at the back. Let me show you the back. See, most of the time Transformers have a very stable front because that's what you're seeing, what you're looking at. And then the back, there's some hollowed out points. In this case, even the back is kind of full. Okay, there's a lot of meat into the whole structure. Okay, color wise, this is a darker shade than the War for Cybertron Kingdom Cyclonus, and that's okay because there's also a darker version of the Galvatron, and I think they're gonna match. At the same time, you know, if he's flying through space, he's gonna probably look darker. Okay, so I mean, if you just look at the whole figure, it looks very beefy. It looks very beefy. Look at the arms, even the wings are very hefty. It is a very menacing figure. Like if you're an Autobot and you just finished fighting the Decepticons and you whoop the behinds all the way back to Cybertron, and then here comes another figure that another flying Decepticon, you know, shooting stuff at you, and you see it shaped like this. It's gonna scare the heebie-jeebies out of you. Okay. Let's go into the toy review. Let's see how this fits into the whole scheme of things. Okay. Because Hasbro likes to do stuff that makes you wonder, like, why did they put this guy with this guy, right? Sometimes it's just really odd. Let's see. Okay. Let's see how this goes. It's weird. It doesn't fit. I don't know. I don't know why. It's supposed to look like this. You know, guys being guys, we normally just don't really look at the manual. And I think that's the trouble here. Yeah. So it's supposed to go up this way. No, it's supposed to go down this way. It's supposed to go in like so. And that's a blaster. Okay. Let's see how he looks. There we go. Tell me if I'm doing this wrong, because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing because I'm not checking the manual. Maybe it's supposed to go this way. And this way. Nah, it's not supposed to. But if it works, it works, right? And this one is supposed to go in like so. There we go. Ooh, so that's how it's supposed to look. Okay. I'm not sure if this figure has loose joints because it feels like it does, but you're now starting to see how you have to be careful in angling the weapon as it's being held, because it is heavier than your regular blaster, okay? Heavier than your regular blaster, okay? So there's a tendency for it to weigh too much that the joint just drops. But it's able to hold its own now, so there's no problem there. So let's do a toy review. Just when I said it. Okay, now let's see if this one holds its own. If it can stay up. That one's better. That one is so much better. Okay? That one's so much better. All right. Okay, let's do a toy review. First impression, again, there's not really much first impression you can come up with when you won't have a lot of first impressions just by seeing the box. But when you open him up, first thing that comes to mind, he's a darker purple. He looks more like Barney rather than a Decepticon. Okay, he looks more like if Unicron had a kid with Barney, this is what it's gonna look like, right? Because of the shade of purple, it even makes you think, like, if you're a Filipino, it's probably ube or halo-halo, right? Okay. But that being said, the figure in itself is, like I said earlier, chunky and clunky. It's stiff, it's solid, it's got a lot of filling You know, so that's why it's probably going to be more difficult to transform. Playability, the Targetmaster or the Minicon adds more to the playability function, but the playability of the figure, but the fact that it doesn't consistently stay up and would probably drop if I just move it like that, knocks it down a peg. Okay, now shelf appeal, it may work if you have Cyclonus and then you have the Cyclonus from War for Cybertron Kingdom might work as your main Cyclonus, and you can have multiple guys like these as the Armada, or vice versa, whichever is cheaper, right? So playability, a generic character with multiple modes, with multiple molds, and various releases could work to move into the army builder type situation. So you can have more of these if they're cheaper, or the Cyclonus. But I think these are easier to find than the Cyclonus from War for Cybertron. What about price point? Again, I'm not sure which one's cheaper. I have to check my file because I have an, like any collector, I don't know if you do, but I have an Excel file that tells me how much I bought this figure for, how much it's going for now. Not because I'm going to sell it, but because I'm just nostalgic that way. So, I'm pretty sure he's not that expensive. He's probably around the 3,000 peso range, around 3,500 pesos range, which is less than $100, which is too much for an action figure. But for a toy collector, it's really the fact that you want to have two different Cyclonuses to compare them with, compare each other with, than to just have one and then you don't know if you like the other one. Especially with this one coming in a box that you can't see what's inside. So you pretty much curiosity got to me. Lastly, shelf appeal. Like I said, if it's an army building type situation, this could be the army or this could be your main villain. It could be Cyclonus or it could be the Armada. Final toy review. Is he cool? Is he not cool? Or is he totally cool? I don't feel bad about him, but I don't feel too great about him. So I'm kind of lukewarm, but I don't want to give him a cool rating just because it's right in the middle. But he, like any other Transformer, and I have to take a closer look at him. I honestly don't like the decals. Personally, I don't like putting stickers on anything. I'm not good at it, okay? But even without the stickers, he's pretty solid. He's pretty good. So, in the interest of honesty and, purely unbiased rating, I think he's cool, okay? He's a cool figure to have. It would be nice to play with him, show you the transformation guide later on. And hope you find this as interesting as I did. And I hope you like this review as much as I like making it for you. Now, that being said, we thank you for watching until the very, very, very end of the video. And we hope to see you on the next one. Don't forget to like the video and other videos in our playlist and in our channel. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you'll be part of our ever-growing toy family. And maybe even one of these days, get a t-shirt. Don't forget to hit that bell button so that you'll be reminded and be notified of any future content that we put out. And like us and follow us on Facebook and TikTok. Which leaves us to our final reminder. Guys, don't forget, toys are not just cool. They're totally cool. So happy collecting. Bye-bye. Cyclonus in the Armada.